Okay, so you should be back to your yarn marker, and so for this step, what we're going to do is go ahead and get your tapestry needle and put your black thread onto your tapestry needle, because we're going to do, you can tell that it's making a little pouch for the foot, so we're going to embroider little toes for the Yorkie. So you're going to come in from the inside towards the top, and then just leave a little bit of yarn, black yarn on the inside for tying your knot, and then you're just going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and then just go in, and you have 1, and then come in towards the middle, and you can see the space apart that I used, and then just go straight down, and then we'll do one more. You want to evenly space it, so it's 1, 2 and a half, 1, 2, and about right there will work. So you want to come in about right there, and then just go down equal distance, and you have your little toes for the Chihuahua. Go ahead and tie your knot. Not the Chihuahua, the Yorkie. You could do this with the Chihuahua video too, if you wanted. And then just tie another knot. Okay. And then just put that loose ends into the center of your work. And then this was the center from the magic circle, the yarn. Okay, and then go back to your work. And then get your yarn marker. And now we're going to do one single chain in every stitch back to the yarn marker. So in the next stitch, I'm just going to do one single chain, and just keep doing one single chain in every stitch around back to your yarn marker, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you should have finished the one single chain in every stitch. Now we're going to do 2 decreases and the rest single chains for this round. So I'm going to do this round with you. In the next stitch, you're going to do a decrease stitch. So you're going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, and then go into the next stitch, yarn over, and then pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3. That's your first decrease. Now we're going to do one single chain in the next stitch, one single chain in the next stitch, one single chain, one single chain, one single chain, and then when you're halfway across from your yarn marker, you're going to do a decrease. So now we're going to do a decrease. So in the next stitch, you're going to yarn over, next stitch, yarn over, and then pull through all 3 on the hook, and then we're going to do one single chain in every stitch back to the yarn marker. So one single chain, one single chain, one single chain, and one single chain, actually one more, and then we're back to the yarn marker. So you can see your paw is taking shape nicely, and now you're just going to do one single chain in every stitch around, and what you're going to do is take your body, and you want your leg, let me get this so I'll lose my spot, you want your leg to be as long as your body. So you're going to do one single chain in every stitch and get as many rows as the top of your body. And when you're done with that, come back and then I'll show you what the project looks like. Okay, so you should have finished the single chains in every stitch until you've reached the height of the body that you want, so it's equal down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and finish off. So we're going to do a slip stitch first. Go ahead and go into your next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then just keep pulling through to the loop on the hook, and then yarn over and pull through to finish off. And then for this one, go ahead and make a long yarn strand for sewing onto the body. And then you can go ahead and remove your yarn marker. And then go ahead and stuff the foot, the leg, with some stuffing, just like I did the body, with some stuffing into the body to give the shape that you want. And then we're going to go ahead and stuff the foot also, and then the foot is going to go onto the body just like that. So go ahead and make your other one. So you're going to need 2 of the feet just like that, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so you should have your 2 legs that are going to go on your body. So I'm going to show you how to sew them on. So just make sure that you've stuffed everything with your pillow stuffing, and have your body about the stuffing that you like. Don't overstuff it. You want it to be soft, but not too put too much in. So just have it stuffed the way that you like it. Then take your tapestry needle and put it onto the end of the yarn that you're going to use for sewing. And then you're going to want to sew. You can go ahead and go to the area where you finished off on the body, and you can take and tie a knot. Just pull it tight. And then the loose end you can just put on the inside of the body. And then just line up the foot and see how I have the edges here lined up. And then you're going to take your tapestry needle and you're just going to go through and then sew it to the body. So go ahead and sew your leg onto the body, and then take your other leg and you're going to put it right next to the other foot and sew those all the way across. And when you're done, come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you should have finished your front legs, and this is how your work is looking right now. And don't worry if they're coming apart, because we're going to fix that as we progress on the project. So now we're going to do the hind legs, and I've already completed one so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. But it's going to go here, and then it's going to attach to the paw of the body and the front legs. So I'm going to show you how to make this one. So we're going to start with the magic circle. So again, you're just going to drape the yarn across the 4 fingers, use your thumb to help stabilize, and then wrap it twice around your middle fingers and hold it in place with your pinky and thumb. And we're going to do 10 single chains into the magic circle. So go ahead and take your hook under, yarn over. We're going to do the knot first. Go ahead and yarn over, pull through, and that's our knot. Now we're going to do 10 single chains. So go under the loops, yarn over, and that's 1. Two single chains. I'll go slow so you can see how I do it. 3 single chains. 4 single chains. Now I'm going to speed up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you have 10 single chains in the magic circle. Go ahead and let go, and with your forefinger and thumb, you're just going to hold magic circle at the base, and then you have these 2 loops on the side. Go ahead and pull on one of them until the magic circle closes, and if it doesn't close, you just let go and grab the other loop. But this one's working, so we'll pull on that. Don't pull it too tight because you have to work into the single chains. Take your loose strand and pull on that. It's okay if you have a little bit of a hole in the center because we can close that up later. You don't want to make it too tight so you can work into your single chains. So we're going to do 2 single chains into each stitch. So in the first stitch, you're going to do 1 single chain. And in the same stitch, you're going to do another single chain. So you have 2 single chains in that stitch. And you're going to do 2 single chains in every stitch around until you have a total of 20. So I'll do one more with you. 1 single chain, 2 single chains into the same stitch. And go ahead and repeat that pattern until you have a total of 20 single chains, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you should have finished 1 single chain in one stitch and then 2 single chains in the next stitch. And so you can see the center hole. We're going to close that up. So on the back, you're just going to take the yarn and pull on it, and then that closes up the center. And pull on a little bit more, and you can see how that closes up nicely there. So now go ahead and get your yarn marker and put it where you left off. And now we're going to do 1 single chain in the next stitch and then 2 single chains in the stitch after that. So in the next stitch, you're going to do 1 single chain, and then you're going to do 2 single chains in the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker. So I'll do one more with you. So 1 single chain in the next stitch, and then 2 single chains in the next stitch. 1, 2. So go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker and come back and I'll show you the next step. So I just finished the 1 single chain and then 2 single chains in the next stitch. So now we're going to do the 3 rows of 1 single chain. So go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up. And then we're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch. So in the next stitch, do 1 single chain. And you're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch around for 3 rows. So when you're finished with your 3rd row, come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you should have finished the 3 rows of 1 single chain in each stitch, and you can count here from your yarn marker, 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to take the yarn marker, move it up to the next row, and we're going to do 1 single chain in the next stitch, and then we're going to do 1 decrease. So in the next stitch, you're going to do 1 single chain, and then we're going to do a decrease into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook, and that's your decrease. So in the next stitch, 1 single chain, and then you're going to do a decrease, and you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around and back to your yarn marker. And when you're done, come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you should have finished the 1 single chain and then the decrease. So go ahead and take your yarn marker and move up. Now we're going to do 1 single chain in 2 stitches and then do a decrease. So in the next stitch over, you're going to do 1 single chain, and the next stitch you're going to do 1 single chain, and then you're going to do a decrease. So you go into the next stitch, yarn over, and then go into the next stitch, yarn over, and then yarn over and pull through all 3, and then that's a decrease. So you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around to the yarn marker, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up to the next level, and your work should look like this. You can go ahead and put this inside. So now I'm going to do this round with you so you can see how I do it. The first stitch we're going to do is a decrease. And then you're going to do a 1 single chain in every stitch up to the halfway mark. So 1 single chain, 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 and then here at about the halfway mark we're going to do a decrease. So take the yarn, go into the next stitch, yarn over, you have 3 on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 for a decrease at that point. And now you're going to do 1 single chain all the way back to the yarn marker. So 1 single chain, 1 single chain, and just keep doing 1 single chains all the way to the yarn marker, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you should be back at your yarn marker. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up. Now we're going to do 7 rows of 1 single chain in every stitch. So in the next stitch, do 1 single chain. You're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch all the way around back to your yarn marker, and you're going to do that for 7 rows. And when you're done with that, come back and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so you should have finished your 7 rows of single chains in each stitch. So here you can count from your yarn marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we're going to do an increase round here. So go ahead and get your yarn marker, move it up to where you left off, and we're going to do 1 single chain in the next stitch and then 2 single chains in the stitch after that. So in the next stitch you're going to do 1 single chain, and then in the next stitch you're going to do 2 single chains in the same stitch. 1, 2. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker. I'm going to do 1 more with you. In the next stitch you're going to do 1 single chain, and the next stitch you're going to do 2 single chains in the same stitch. Go ahead and repeat this pattern all the way around back to your yarn marker, and when you come back I'll show you the next step. We just finished the 1 single chain in one stitch and then 2 single chains in the next stitch. Now we're going to do 2 rows of single chain. So go ahead and move your yarn marker up, and in the next stitch you're going to do 1 single chain, and you're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch all the way around back to the yarn marker, and you're going to do that for 2 rows. And when you're done, come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, we just finished the 2 rows of single chain in every stitch, and here you can count from your yarn marker 1, 2, and now we're going to do 4 decreases. So go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up, and in the next stitch you're going to yarn over, and then in the next stitch you're going to yarn over again. You have 3 on the hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through. That's 1 decrease. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, take the yarn over again and go through all 3. That's 2 decreases. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through all 3. That's 3 decreases. And then the 4th decrease, go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through all 3, and that's 4 decreases. Now you're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch back to the yarn marker. So you do 1 single chain, 1 single chain, and go ahead and keep doing 1 single chain every stitch back to the yarn marker, and come back and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so you should be back to your yarn marker. Go ahead and remove the yarn marker, and then you're going to do 1 more round of 1 single chain in every stitch. So in the next stitch, just do 1 single chain, and you're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch all the way around back to your yarn marker, and when you're done, come back and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you should be back to your yarn marker. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and embroider on the little toe for the paws. So go ahead and get your tapestry needle with your thread, the black thread, and you're going to want to use the part that's kind of looped up for the paw. So you can see how it has a little bit of a dip here going over the paw. That's the part that you want up here. And then we're going to put the center one in first. So go ahead and position your paw. Make sure you have it positioned right. And then you're just going to go through the central one first. And just leave a little bit of a yarn on the inside for sewing. And then you want to go 3 up. 1, 2, 3. And then go in. And you can see how it matches your other one. Make sure it's matching. And so now I'm going to go over 2, 1, 2. Make sure you get in the same row. And then you just count down 3. 1, 2, 3. Make sure it's equal. Go down. And then you're going to come up over here. Make sure that you're over 2. 1, 2. And then 1, 2, 3. And then you can double check, make sure your paws look okay, they're lined up okay, which they are. So then you want to take and tie a knot on the inside. And you can go ahead, if your black thread is too long, go ahead and cut it. And you can tuck those inside. So now we're going to go ahead and stuff the stuffing into the leg and then come back and I'll show you how to close it. Okay, so you should have put the stuffing all into your foot, and now I'm going to show you how to close it. Go ahead and take your yarn marker, move it up, and now we're just going to do decreases around. So in your next stitch, you're going to yarn over and then go into the next stitch, yarn over, and you have 3 on the hook. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through all 3, and you're going to do this all the way around. Next stitch, next stitch, and yarn over and pull through all 3, and you're going to go into your next stitch and the next stitch, and you're just going to keep on doing a decrease all the way around, and you're going to slowly close the foot. I'm going to go ahead and just finish closing this with you, that way you can see how I do it. Okay, now you can see how you're getting close. You can go ahead and take out your yarn marker now, and then what you're going to do now is you're going to slip stitch it shut. So what you're going to do is skip a stitch. So right here you'll skip that stitch and go into the next stitch, just like that. You're going to yarn over, and then you're going to pull through both loops on the hook. You're going to skip the next stitch, go into this stitch, like that. You're going to yarn over, you can see how I'm holding my hook and pulling it through both. And again, you're getting closer and closer. Now you're going to skip this stitch again and go right across, just like that. Yarn over, and pull your yarn through both. And you can go ahead and do it one more time, or you can finish off. I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time to really close this off well. Just go in the opposite stitch. You're going to yarn over and just pull through both. And now we're going to finish off, so you yarn over and pull through. And you just need a little bit, because we're going to use a little bit of it for sewing. Okay, so now you have both behind paws for the Yorkie. So I'm going to show you how to put those on. So these are going to go on both sides of the Yorkie, like this. But we're going to need to have the yarn for sewing, so go ahead and get your tapestry needle and get some of your yarn. Get a good amount for sewing. Yeah, and I just got a little bit for putting the hind legs on. Go ahead and put your tapestry needle on. And you're just going to position the hind legs, because you want them to come in right behind the forepaws, because we're going to sew the hind leg to the forepaw. So like this. And you want to have the back lined up with the back body of the Chihuahua. I mean the Yorkie, I keep calling it Chihuahua. And back here, same thing. And you just want to make sure that it's also level for sitting, because our Yorkie is going to be sitting down. And then once you have it positioned how you like it, you want to take your tapestry needle. See if I can get the body here. Okay, so then you're going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to go through to the other side. So make sure you have a good hold on your Yorkie. And then you want to come through with your tapestry needle on the other side. Push that through, pull it through on the other side. Sometimes it's hard to grip it and pull it through. Sometimes you can set it down and then help you pull it through, like that. And then you want to leave a little bit on the other side for sewing the knot. Go ahead and position again how you want your Yorkie. Once you have it positioned, again, you're going to take the tapestry needle and you're going to go back through to the other side. So you're going to go about 2 stitches over. You're going to go back through the body. And you want to position it so you're about equal distance like you were on the other side. So you want to have it come through. If I can show you that. About 2 spots right there, and then pull it through. So you can see 2 stitches over, and then just pull it through. And then what you're going to do is you want to puff it out before you tie your knot. So here, just make sure you have everything so it's not pulled tight. Go ahead and fluff it out a little bit. And make sure your body is as thick as you want it. And then you can tie your knot on the other side. And then you pull the knot however tight you want the legs to be positioned on the body. So once you have it the way you like it, go ahead and make sure that your knot is secure. Get the other side. Go ahead and finish tying the knot. And I usually tie it 3 times. And to make sure that it's really secure, you're going to go again and go through the body one more time. So you're going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to go through to the other side. Now, make sure you're positioned right and holding the Yorkie. So you're going to come through on the other side. And then you just want to puff out the body again. Make sure it's not too tight on there. And then you're going to go through one more time. And you're going to go about 2 stitches down and then just go right back through to the other side. Here you can see I'm about a stitch over, and that's fine. Then pull that through. I'm going to do it 2 times just to make it really secure. And then you just want to puff it out. And then once you have it positioned how you like, you're going to go ahead and tie your knot. And you might want to fix it on the back side too, as far as the stuffing. And then just take and tie a knot. And you just want to make sure get the edge there. Okay, and then go ahead and cut. But first we want to bury the longer needle and thread into the foot. So you just take your needle, go into the same area and go through and bury that end. Go ahead and cut that off. And then you're going to do the same thing with this side. And then that just buries your ends, so it looks really nice. Okay. So you can always kind of shape it back, the back leg. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to sew the front leg to the hind leg, like this. So you just take your tapestry needle, and you just take the piece that was on, that we left over on the hind paw, and we're going to sew it to the back of the front paw. So you just want to center it, and I'm going to go in about right here. Just sew that onto the front paw. So just go into the hind paw. sew that in. And make sure that you bury it so no one can see your strands of yarn. It makes it really nice. And then we're going to tie a knot. And then you're just going to bury the yarn, and we can just bury it this way. Onto the same spot, come up through the hind paw, and then cut it. And then we have the hind paw to the front paw, and you're going to do the same thing with the other side, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so you're back, and this is how your work is looking. So you just finished sewing the front paws to the back paws. And so now, to make the front look a little bit better, you could sew the paws together like that, or you can just leave it like this. I think I'm just going to leave it like that, but if you did want to sew them together, you would just take and sew the insides together, but I kind of like it like that. So now we're just going to sew the head on. So you're going to go ahead and get your head, and then you're just going to place it onto the Yorkie and sew it in place. So go ahead and get your tapestry needle and the thread ready, and then we'll sew the head on to the Yorkie. Okay, so now for this part, you want to make sure that you get the Yorkie's head so that it's facing straight when you sew it on. And so what you're going to do is go ahead and you can take your needle and go through the starting point, because you want to tie a knot here to secure it. And then you can take the head, position it how you want. Once you have it where you like, then you can take your tapestry needle and you can go into the body and up into the head, and then pinch off how much you want to have. And so you're going to sew the head of the Yorkie all the way around and sew it on, but at the same time you have to make sure you hold the head so it's straight and doesn't position the wrong way. So go ahead and sew your head on the Yorkie and come back, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so your head should be sewed on nicely all the way around. And then once you've sewed it on in place, you're just going to take and make sure that you have a good knot in. And then we're going to sew in the ends. Just take your tapestry needle and any loose ends that you have, you just want to take and go through anywhere on the neck, and then go up through the head and pull it through. And then just take your scissors and then just cut. And then you can't see it. So go ahead and bury all of your yarn ends, and then when you come back, I'll show you how to make the ears. Okay, so now we're going to make the Yorkie ear. So you're going to want to make 2 of these, but we're going to start with the magic circle. Go ahead and take your yarn and drape it around your 4 fingers. Hold it with your thumb and then wrap around twice for your middle fingers, and then hold with your pinky and your thumb. And then just take your G-size hook, go under both loops on your middle fingers, yarn over, pull under, yarn over, pull through, and that's your knot. Now you're going to do 5 single chains in the magic circle. You go under, yarn over, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and pull through. That's one single chain, and you can go ahead and let go, pinky and thumb, and then just hold the magic loop with your two middle fingers, and then go under, yarn over, two, and then do one more slow, three, and then I'm going to do two fast, 4, 5. And then go ahead and take your forefinger and thumb and hold it at the base of the 5 single chains, and then you have the 2 loops on the opposite side. Go ahead and pull on one, and if it doesn't pull, then let go and grab the other one, and then take your other loose strand and pull that, and it closes your magic circle nicely. Okay, now you're going to do one single chain in every stitch. So in your next stitch, you're going to do one single chain. Next stitch, one single chain. And that's 2. One single chain. 3. Next one single chain. 4. And then one single chain. So the last one makes 5. And then go ahead and get your yarn marker and just put it right where you left off. And now you're going to do 2 single chains in every stitch all the way around. So in the next stitch, you're going to do 2 single chains. It's 1, and then 2 single chains in the same stitch, 2. So then next stitch you're going to do 2 more, 1, 2. So now you have a total of 4, and then in the next stitch you're going to do 2 more, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the last 2, 9, 10. Okay, and then go ahead, take out your yarn marker. Now you're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch. So in the next stitch, do 1 single chain. And you're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch all the way around back to your yarn marker. And when you're done, come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, you're back and your work should look like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and turn it inside out. So you're going to take it and turn it like this. And so this yarn that we started with is going to go on the inside of the ear. So to make it a little bit shorter, you can go ahead and cut it. And that'll go just inside the ear, like that. And then take your yarn marker, move it up to the next row. Now you're going to do 1 single chain in the next stitch and then 2 single chains in the stitch after that. So in the next stitch, you're going to do 1 single chain, yarn over, pull through, 1 single chain. The next stitch you're going to do 2 single chains. So go into the next stitch, do 1 and 2. So go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around till you get back to the yarn marker. But I'm going to go ahead and do one more with you. So 1 single chain, and then 2 in the next stitch, and repeat that pattern all the way to the yarn marker, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. So we just finished the 1 single chain in 1 stitch and then 2 single chains in the next stitch. Go ahead and take your yarn marker and move it up, Now we're going to do 5 rows of 1 single chain in every stitch. So in the next stitch, you just do 1 single chain, and then in every stitch all the way around you're going to do 1 single chain in every stitch, and do that for 5 rows, and then come back and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so you should have finished your 1 single chain in every stitch for 5 rows, and you can count from your yarn marker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch. You're going to yarn over, and then you're going to pull through both loops on the hook, and then you're going to finish off. So yarn over and pull through, and then you're going to pull enough yarn for sewing onto the Yorkie. So you have your first ear. Go ahead and make your second ear, and then we'll sew the ears on the Yorkie. Okay, so you should have finished both your ears for the Yorkie. So go ahead and get your tapestry needle and then put that onto the long end of yarn that you left for sewing. And on your ear, you're going to want to kind of pinch it in the middle a little bit to give it a little bit of a curve on the inside of the ear. And then you're going to take your Yorkie, and then you're just going to line up where you want to have the ears on the Yorkie. And so on this one, I'm thinking you can use the center as your guide, and then just count over how far you want to have the ear placed, and then make sure that you're about midway for placement. So once you have your ear where you want it placed, then you can go ahead and take your tapestry needle and just go into the head where you want it. And then come out on the other side. So again, you just want to make sure that as you're sewing it, you don't lose your placement of the ear on the head of the Chihuahua. So now you're in the back of the Chihuahua, the Yorkie. You keep doing that, calling it a Chihuahua, but it's actually the Yorkie. Now on the back side of the ear, what you want to do is you want to go through the center and then come up that way on the back of the ear of the Yorkie, and then just pull it down, and just make sure that you're still lined up where you want to be, and that your ear still has the curve in the middle and the pinch. And then on the other side, you're just going to go across and then down into the head of the Yorkie, and then back into the front. And then just keep positioning your ear, making sure you don't lose the placement of the ear. And then on the front, what you want to do is just the same thing. You want to go into the middle and then back up. And then you just want to keep on sewing into the head, and making sure that your placement is still where you want it. And then on the corners, the same thing. You want to go into the middle and then just keep sewing the ear onto the Yorkie, and then go ahead and sew your other ear on, and then come back, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so your Yorkie should have its ears on now, and now we're going to start making the Yorkie actually look like a Yorkie. And so what you're going to need is your tapestry needle and a long string of yarn, the color that you want to make the hair on the snout. And what you're going to do is down the center of the snout, we're going to start lacing the hair. So you go ahead and pull the yarn through, and you're going to leave the strand as long as you want the hair to be on the snout. So I'm going to leave about that much on the snout. And then you're going to come back into the next stitch down and pull the yarn through. And you want to leave the same amount, the same length that you had on the other side. You want it to be the same on the loop that you just made on this side. And if you don't like it, you can always snip it later or cut it. So then just go into the next stitch down and do the same thing. And you're just going to keep on looping your yarn. Make sure it's the same length. And you're just going to keep on sewing loops into the face like this. Now there are different methods that people do this. This is the way that I found was easiest to do it. And don't worry if it gets tangled up, because we're going to cut and tie knots when we're done. So here, just keep going down as far down as you want to have the hair go on the face, and just make sure that your loop, that you keep a long enough loop for cutting later. And that's about the last one. So when you get the loops on the face, then what you're going to do is take your scissors and you're just going to take one of the loops, and I want to get one that's close to each other. So this loop here, oh, I'm tangled just a little bit. Here's a loop. Just take one of this loop and you're going to cut it, and then you're going to tie a knot. Don't tie it too tight. You're just going to loosely tie the knot, because if you pull it too tight, you're going to pull your loops. And then each subsequent knot, you can pull it a little bit tighter. And then I just do one more, and this one you can pull tight, and then just let it hang. And then just take another loop, and you're just going to take your loop, and then you can let go and take your other one and then just tie a knot. And you're just going to keep going, and you're just going to keep on cutting loops and tying knots. And then this one that's longer than your loop, you're going to go ahead and trim it to the same length. And then what you do is you just keep finding a loose strand, and you just keep tying your knots until all of them are tied on there. So you want to take your other loose strands and just make sure that you tie, make sure they're equal to in size, and just keep tying knots all the way around. And then this one you can go ahead and tie up here. You want them to be fairly close so the knots are close to each other. And then here's one. And then I'm going to tie this one to this one because it's closer. And then just make sure that all of them are tied so you don't have any loose one that can come undone later. Just make sure that all of them have a knot. Here's one right here. Okay, and then we're going to do that again. So just make sure that you've tied a knot for all of them. And then go ahead and get your tapestry needle and another piece of thread lined up, and then we'll do that again. Okay, so you should have your yarn and your tapestry needle again. And so you're just going to go back up to the top and you're just going to do it again. Make sure that your length is about the same length as your other hairs. And then you're just going to go down again, one stitch lower, and just pull it. Make sure you don't get tangled up with your other hairs that you already finished. Just keep pulling it until your loop is as long as the other hairs on there. And then what you want to do is go ahead, so you don't lose the loops, you want to go ahead and cut it. And then don't lose your other strand, and then you're just going to tie the knot. And what you do is you just find one of the hairs that's closest and then just tie your knot. So go ahead and finish sewing in. You know, just go ahead and move your hairs, make sure that they're all lined up how you want it. And then you just keep on going down into the next stitch and then looping your yarn. As long as you want it. And then cutting that. So go ahead and make it as thick as you want for your Yorkie. And then when you're finished with this part, come back and then I'll show you the next step.